Well, it's a tradition here in Waco, Texas, that Baylor line, and it takes on more significance here on Senior Day. And we got a heated Texas rivalry as the 14th-ranked Baylor Bears take on the Texas Longhorns. Well, this is a big one from Matt Rhule's Baylor squad because with a victory, they clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship game, which comes your way in 2 weeks, and it will be their 10th win of the season, only the 6th time in program history the Bears have won 10 or more games. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Custer alongside my partner Robert Smith. And Smitty, two Texas teams, both coming off devastating losses, but for Matt Rhule and Charlie Brewer, they're trying to beat the Texas Longhorns for the first time.
Yeah, and, you know, when we talked to Coach Rhule about this, he said really the job wasn't that hard because this is Texas, okay? This is the University of Texas, as you mentioned, a team they had not beaten yet. And his motto is, what's next? Let's just get ready for that next game. And Charlie Brewer, he has just been a fantastic quarterback for this university over the last couple of years. And look, he comes from high school royalty, about 95 miles down the road, Lake Travis down in Austin. Dangerous not just with his arm, but with his legs as well. 9 rushing touchdowns on the season, and he's not a big guy. He's only about 205 pounds, but he runs with a chip on his shoulder, maybe because he's got some family that played for the University of Texas at QB.
Sure did, his grandfather and his father. Now, the Longhorns this season have followed up every loss with a victory. And for Sam Ehlinger, this will be his first substantial opportunity to face this Baylor squad.
Yeah, banged up a couple of times in the last couple of years, so wasn't able to get much time against Baylor. And we talk about coming from that high school royalty. Texas football is a little bit different. He's from Austin as well, played at Westlake, actually played against Charlie Brewer in high school. And we talked about how dangerous Charlie Brewer is with his arms and with his legs. Sam Ehlinger, the same thing. But Sam Ehlinger, when he takes off and runs, he is like a fullback, 230 pounds. You better bring it if you want to bring down Mr. Sam Ehlinger.
You know, the Longhorns have won 4 straight against the Bears. Last time Baylor won this game in Waco, 6 years ago. Horns, Bears, the kick when we come back.
Longhorns, they go for it on 4th and goal. Ehlinger flushed out. Throw. Touchdown, Longhorns. 4 seconds left on the clock for the win. He's got ice in those veins. Iowa State finally wins a close one. Oklahoma trying to take the lead. Kick is away, and it is good. Oklahoma on top. Intercepted. And the Sooners' playoff hopes are still alive.
Both these squads coming off some big losses. We're in Waco. Brian Custer, Robert Smith, our rules expert Dean Blandino's with us as well from Los Angeles. Nearly 60 degrees here in Texas for the 109th meeting between these two schools. There is 44-year-old Tom Herman in his 3rd season as the head coach of the Longhorns. He's 2-0 against the Baylor Bears. And for those who think Texas won't be fired up and responding, take a look at the head coach here just moments ago with his squad. Hey, Robert Smith, he's fired up.
He's fired up. Banging that bear head against the helmet. A little bit dangerous right there. I guess figures it's worth the risk. Show your team how fired up you are.
He talked about this is one of those games that will show what kind of character his Longhorn squad has. He's ready to go. Matt Rhule, 44 years old as well, in his 3rd season with Baylor. He has improved the win total every season at Baylor. Only teams he has not beaten in the Big 12, Oklahoma, who he lost to last week, and these Texas Longhorns, he is 0-2 against the Horns.
Of course, he doesn't want a repeat of what happened last week against Oklahoma. Got up 28-3 in that game. Oklahoma able to fight their way back. Victory there, and just love the way that Matt Rhule has done it as a program. Obviously, we know about all the controversy with Art Briles and his exit and that staff being gone. He's coming here, and he's really done a great job, not just with this program, but throughout the state of Texas. And he's really impressed these coaches down here in the state. They have a lot of faith in him, and they're sending great players his way.
Texas won the toss. They're going to defer, so they're going to kick things away. Cameron Dicker, the kicker, will boot things away and back deep for Baylor. Josh Fleeks and JaMychal Hasty. Texas has won the last 4 meetings. Their first meeting between these two, 1901. They've met every year since 1945. We'll get our first look at this Baylor offense, and here comes Charlie Brewer, making his 27th career start. Completes over 60% of his passes. He's had multiple passing touchdowns in 3 straight games.
We talked about the danger of his legs as well. We saw him take off a number of times against Oklahoma in that first half, able to convert some of those turnovers into points.
And John Lovett gets the first carry, and John Lovett has got himself a first down carry. DeMarvion Overshawn makes the stop, but an 11-yard pickup for these Baylor Bears, who said they definitely want to pound the football at this Texas defense.
They want to pound the football, and they want to pound the football on the edges. You can see Texas not setting the edge of that defense right there.
Play fake. Chris Platt over the middle. Chris Platt cuts back and brought down inside the 20 and fumbled the football. Chris Brown comes up with it. Big play by Baylor, and they turn it over.
Don't give up on the play if you're a defender. You can see Texas right there.
Fumble recovered by the defense.
Take a look at this one. You can see the safety, Brandon Jones, number 19, gets frozen by the play action, gets his eyes into the backfield, allows the catch. Got to secure that ball when extra defenders are coming. The right knee might be down on that one. Well, we'll see.
Deshaun Jamison came in right there, made the hit.
That ball, he came down on top of Jamison, so that right knee definitely isn't down.
And that's exactly what Texas needed here at the beginning of this game. They get the turnover. So here comes Sam Ehlinger. Keontae Ingram in the backfield alongside Duvernay in motion. And they swing it out to Duvernay in the flat. He picks up a couple. Raleigh Dahada makes the stop. So here's Sam Ehlinger, Austin native, Davey O'Brien Award semifinalist. Broke Major Applewhite's record, now second in career touchdown passes. He's thrown a run for a TD in 17 straight games. This is Ingram. Keontae from maybe 1. And his Longhorn offense. You know, with Colin Johnson out, Ehlinger will be looking to the senior, Devin Duvernay, all night. Second in the FBS, first in the Big 12 in catches. He's got 4 straight games with 100 or more yards receiving. And while he's not a semifinalist for that Biletnikoff Award, is really a shame.
He's got that track speed, too. I love talking about it, man. There's a big difference between football speed and track speed. That's a guy that's running under 10-3 in the 100.
They're going to call a timeout.
Texas takes their first time out of the half.
3rd and 6 is what Tom Herman and his Longhorns are looking at. We'll take a break. When we come back, no score here in the first quarter. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something that's bigger than yourself. No score. 3rd down. Here's Colin Johnson. 6 in UT history. Career catches and receiving yards, out with the hamstring. 3rd game he's missed. Duvernay in the slot, and it looks like we got a Baylor Bear that jumped off sides.
Yeah, he was about 4 yards in the backfield on that one. You know, you get that empty look.
Offside. Defense number 11, unabated to the quarterback. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Jamison Houston, a senior out of Austin, got anxious. Got anxious.
Yeah, that's a really good way, a kind way to put it. You get that empty look with 5 wideouts, just Sam Ehlinger in the backfield. Houston got a little bit excited, said, hey, there's nobody back there that's going to be able to block me. I'm going to get a free shot here, but got to wait for the snap.
Texas, one of the best in the country, converting on 3rd down. They convert 50% of them. Ehlinger, he's going to keep it and run. He's got a 1st down. Terrell Bernard makes the stop for the Bears, but an 8-yard pickup by the quarterback.
And this is something that this Baylor defense saw way too often with Oklahoma coming back from a 25-point deficit last week. I know Sam Ehlinger, like Jalen Hurts, can take off and run if things are covered up downfield. It's something they're going to have to be very aware of, especially as a defensive line, in the way that you rush, not getting too high in the pocket, and then some spy coming in to help.
Here's Keontae Ingram off that left side. James Lockhart, Bravion Roy with the stop. Talk about that Baylor defense. It is fast up front, in the middle. Their linebacker, Terrell Bernard, who made a tackle a couple plays ago. This kid's already been a Defensive Player of the Week twice this season. He's put up double digits in tackles in 3 straight games. He's got that broken hand. How tough is he? Broke his hand against OU last Saturday, had surgery on Monday, was back at practice on Tuesday. Swing that one out to Brennan Eagles. Eagles down the sideline and pushed out right by that 1st down marker.
And unusual miss by number 2, Blake Lynch. Has an opportunity on this one. You see Eagles coming across the formation on a shallow cross, and here you're going to see Lynch miss the tackle. That's what allowed Eagles to pick up that few 6-7 yards to get the 1st down.
Yeah, 10-yard pickup. They're looking for a second receiver, especially with Colin Johnson out, and they're hoping that it is Eagles. Rashawn Johnson has checked in the backfield. The snap gets away from Ehlinger. And he complete to Malcolm Epps. What a job by Sam Ehlinger.
He is the picture of poise, looking to the sideline as the snap comes. Just picks it up, stay calm, finds Epps down the field. And, of course, on a broken play like that, the defenders are thinking that they're going to come up with an opportunity to pick up a fumble. And nobody's covering Epps on the backside.
So far, it's the Longhorns who've had the luck on their side. They've gotten a turnover and near disaster avoided there. And they hand it off, or it's Ehlinger who keeps it. And that's another 1st down carry.
I mean, you talked about it in the open. He's an absolute tank. Just a pleasure to watch him play, like a more accurate version of Tim Tebow. About the same size, too. Maybe a little bit shorter, but 230 pounds. He's a real load to bring down. So it's one thing to get the hat to him to make the stop. It's another thing to bring enough to get him down.
8th play of this drive for the Longhorns. Ehlinger rolling, spins out, throws, and that's incomplete in the direction of Epps.
Dangerous throw right there. Kalen Barnes, number 12, almost had himself a pick on that one. Sam did a nice job getting away from the pressure in the backfield. Got to be careful with the delivery on that ball. And Barnes is one of those track guys. He gets that thing. I don't know anybody on Texas' offense is going to catch up with him.
From the Baylor 45. With a second on the play clock. Ehlinger. Bang. Genie Obaniah. Right at the line of scrimmage.
Obaniah knows he's not going to be able to get there to Ehlinger. Just keeping his eyes on him. Kind of feeling the timing that Ehlinger is going to release that ball, gets the hands up, knocks that thing down. Great play.
Duvernay, one of the top receivers in the country, on catching passes on third down for first downs. He's in the slot at the top of your screen. Ehlinger keeps it. And brought down at the 38. Bravion Roy makes the stop, 5-yard pickup. And it's decision time, and you can see him. He says, keep going. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Decided to punt this one away.
Just like Nagar, Chris Nagar is going to come out.
Punt formation, at least. We'll see if they're actually going to punt this.
Raylan Arnold. And let's see if they go with the fake. Or try to draw off.
You have that 4 to 5 yards. You're going to try and get into formation to draw them off sides. I don't think this one's actually going to be a fake.
Yep. Tried to draw him off.
Send the offense back out now. You couldn't get him with the fake. This territory, the way Texas season has gone, they're going to go ahead and kick it away.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Mike DeVete, our referee. Mike has been hitting the buys and tries this weekend.
You know, Ed Hockley started the trend, and all the other refs have now followed it.
See that, Mike? I'm not mad at you. Put that work in the gym. You put on a medium shirt.
Guns up in Lubbock and guns out here in Waco.
Yeah, exactly. So here's Nagar back out to punt. Arnold inside his 10.
Go get it.
Fair catch. Caught at the 10. And Baylor still has not allowed an opening drive TD this season. Charlie Brewer, that Bear offense when we come back. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Dave & Buster's. Download the new Dave & Buster's Fun app. Do it today. No score here in the first quarter as we take a look at the Baylor offense. You know, their senior Denzel Mims, he leads the Bears in TD catches, receptions. Need just 2 more TD catches to move into 3rd place all-time in Baylor history. And most of his catches have gone for a first down.
Well, they've had some great receivers. This team a little bit different than those explosive offenses that we saw, but that's big to be in a company like that.
And there's Mims, and that's a first down. Caden Stearns makes the stop in that Texas defense, a safety position. You saw Caden Stearns, the strength of the Longhorn defense. Stearns is a sophomore, Big 12 freshman defensive player of the year last season. Had 8 tackles, a sack, and 2 tackles for a loss last weekend against Iowa State.
Yeah, people wonder why these defensive numbers have been down for Texas this year. Not an excuse. A lot of new faces and a lot of injuries, and Stearns was one of them early.
Brewer steps up, keeps it, slides, and dropped the football again, but they say he was down.
Really almost the runner was down by Rule.
The
Second
right
down.
hip might be coming down here. I don't think the knee is quite down yet. No, it looks like that right knee's down. Yep, he's on the ground.
Absolutely. So second down. 8 yards. Brewer rolling, throwing to the outside to Jared Atkinson. And the junior out of Mesquite makes the catch.
Right, nice job of Atkinson bringing that one in. Brewer got that thing out pretty fast, but he got it out low and to the outside. Atkinson had to come back quite a bit to get that ball and go down. Nice job by the young receiver there.
Baylor converts about 42% of these, and it's Brewer. Puts his shoulder down. He gets a first down for Baylor. Joseph Osai with the stop 4-yard pickup.
Well, this is the way that you attack defenses. You change the numbers when you have a quarterback running, because the way that a defense is set, You have gaps that you're supposed to fill, and you're supposed to have numbers in a certain area, and the advantage goes to the offense when the quarterback runs the ball.
John Lovett trying to get to the outside, and DeMarvion Overshawn is not having it. That's a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Todd Orlando was sure to bring up Overshawn, really called out his performance and the way that he's played over the last couple of weeks. We talked about those injuries on the defense for Texas this season. There have been a number of injuries in that secondary. Overshawn's one of those guys, one of those hybrid-type players that we see so many times with these three-man fronts that you see from Texas, we see from Baylor, we see from Iowa State, of course. He really came up and brought it that time. And you need guys like that if you're going to be playing a smaller play.
2-yard loss. Pressure off the outside. They swing it out to Hasty. And Caden Stearns makes the stop. You talked about the defensive coordinator. There he is. There's Todd Orlando. And he told us there's some keys they got to do. They got to control the run, especially Charlie Brewer. They want to create some turnovers. They did that. And win third down.
Yeah, Todd Orlando's got a great reputation as a defensive coordinator. Texas defense, again, the numbers have not been very good. 9 new starters from a year ago, and they've had to deal with some injuries.
Receiver screen to Chris Platt. And he's about a yard shy of a first down. Ayodele Adeoye makes the stop for the Longhorns. 7-yard pickup. Of course, Platt fumbled the football off that 44-yard touchdown catch, or I should say catch and run, in the first offensive series for Baylor, and they'll punt this one away. Here's Isaac Power. Brandon Jones for Texas. Go back to his own 23.
Baylor bounce.
They down it at the 6. 52-yard punt. No score here in Waco. No score here in Waco as you take a look at Devin Duvernay. You know, he's a senior. It would have been senior day for him. He was the top prospect of Art Briles' 2016 recruiting class for Baylor. Opted to leave for Texas. This kid is just one of 11 players with over 1,000 yards receiving. He's had 8 or more catches in 5 straight games. That's the longest active streak in the FBS and not on the Biletnikoff semifinalist list, which is,
yeah, it seems like an absurd
major snub. Keontae Ingram gets the carry. Chris Miller makes the stop for Baylor.
And Ingram, the sophomore, nice physical
Offside.
run right there.
Defense, number 98, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Obanaya, the sophomore out of Houston.
And more on we're going to talk more about Duvernay. Originally a Baylor commit, one of the fastest high school track athletes in the country coming out.
Ellinger up the middle. Henry Black makes the stop, but not before Ellinger picks up 16 yards.
Well, it's a lot easier said than done, but you just have to converge on a guy like Sam Ellinger. You're not going to be able to tackle him with an arm or from the side in most instances. And yeah, it's real easy to stand up here in the press box and say you got to get in front of that 230-pound freight train as he's running. But hey, buy the ticket, take the ride. That's a defender's job.
Ellinger now with 32 yards rushing. Keeps it, throws to the outside and high. He was hit as soon as he delivered that one.
There was Obanaya coming in with the pressure. There was movement along the front of Baylor there, right there. And you're going to see Obanaya get home on that one. And when they move at the snap like that, even with a 3-man front, it can be difficult. Those defenders can get in the gaps very quickly.
Swings it out to Keontae Ingram, and what a hit by Raleigh Tejada.
Tejada read down As the coaches say a lot of times, believe what you see. They see it on film, reading the action. And Ingram right there had no chance. Did a nice job hanging on to it, though. As Tejada laid the lick.
Sam Ehlinger started 3 for 3. Since then, he's gone 1 for 4 for -5 yards. Duvernay in the slot. Trips at the bottom of your screen. Ehlinger over the middle. That's complete to Ingram. He's short of a first down.
A nice job by the Baylor defense right there, dropping 8 into coverage, and they're going to concede those underneath throws. Let you complete that pass at about 4 or 5 yards, or 3 or 4 yards, and converge. And they did a nice job converging on that ball after the reception.
So Chris Nagar will come back in to punt. Braylon Arnold standing at his own 25. This one's short.
Shank.
Definite shank.
You're not supposed to say it in golf, but you can say it putting, right?
Just a 19-yard punt for Texas. Raleigh Tejada. Big hit. No score here in Waco. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. In fact, the Dr. Pepper Museum, right here in Waco, Texas. Dr. Pepper created, first sold here in 1885. Went to dinner last night, had one of those Dr. Peppers with the sugar cane in it. Man, that was a good drink.
A lot of people that know me are surprised I actually made it to the game and didn't stay there.
Tristan Ebner swings that one out to him. That's incomplete. Remember last week,
Fielded after that hit, just like Tejada on the other one.
Remember last week against OU, especially the second half, the Baylor offense just stalled. And you can take a look here now, their last 7 possessions, counting from last week. 4 punts, 3 and outs, 3 turnovers. Baylor's got to get things rolling offensively. Ebner stays in the game in the backfield. Now he swings out. He's lined up in the slot. Brewer on the run. Keeps it. And brought down about a yard shy of the first down marker.
Boy, that was Joseph Asai coming over and making that stop. Fast, athletic play there.
They go with tempo. Brewer keeps it and dives forward. And they mark him right there on the line.
Yeah, he was stumbling as he was going to the outside there. It's like that knee came down before he was able to extend. Whoop. I could be wrong.
Yep, they moved the chains. First down for Baylor.
Yeah, first ref on one side said he was a little bit short. Said he got it on the other. Only takes one.
Inside 2 minutes. Baylor going with their 12 personnel. That means 2 tight ends. They'll give this one to Ebner. He cuts back. Good 6-yard pickup. Chris Brown makes the stop.
Talk about the struggles of this Baylor offense over the last 7 possessions. They've just not been running the ball, not been getting the ball to the running backs enough. Ebner so dangerous because he can also split out as a wide receiver. Did a nice job going to the backside on that play, avoiding the cornerback, Deshaun Jameson, getting it north and south, picking up some good yards.
Under a minute, Brewer will keep it. Brought down the yard shy, Malcolm Roach, the vocal leader, best defensive player. And here's Coach Nixon. Jeff Nixon, offensive coordinator from Baylor. He was also college roommate, teammate of Matt Rule at Penn State. Calling the plays. 4 straight runs so far for Baylor. They stay with that 2 tight end set. 3rd and 1. Brewer, first down. And that should be the last play of this quarter.
We talked about Brewer.
That's the
Not
end
the
of
biggest
first
guy,
quarter.
but he's very physical on those quarterback runs.
Been a physical first quarter. No score in Waco. Texas and Baylor. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. As we start the second quarter, we take a look at the first quarter statistics. Baylor with over 100 yards of offense. Teams held the football for basically the same amount of time. Bears had that 1 turnover, the fumble by Chris Platt. John Lovett in the backfield. He's got the rock. Left side. Lovett bounces it outside. Oh, I love it, John. He dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Baylor.
Lovett does a great job following the convoy. You're going to see Xavier Newman, number 55, and Blake Badier leading the way. John Lovett negotiating the traffic, lowering the shoulder, and getting the ball across the goal line.
6 straight runs by the Baylor offense, capped off by that 28-yard touchdown run by John Lovett. Leads the team in rushing. He's now scored 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games. 15th of the season. John Mayers in for the extra point. And the Bears strike first.
How about John Lovett right here, named after a former Saturday Night Live guest? And then we have a kicker named after a singer. Great job by Baylor getting up 7-0.
First play of the second quarter. Baylor gets on the board. They lead 7-0. 7 plays, 50 yards. They did it under 3 minutes. 6 straight running plays. John Lovett capped it off with that 28-yard touchdown run. Noah Rauschenberg kicked things away to Sean Jamison. Back deep for Texas. Seven 7-0 our score. Let's get a game break. Oh, it's our guy.
Yes.
Sam, I am Farber. What do you got, Sam?
I got a good one over on Fox, gentlemen. Number 12, Wisconsin hosting Purdue. Aaron Cruikshank with the big run here, going up the gut, 27 yards for the score. Badgers up 7-0. And with a win today, their game against Minnesota next week will be for the Big Ten West title. Back to Brian and Robert.
All right, Sam, that'd be a good one, too.
How about Purdue, though? They've had some injuries this year. Their last 19 touchdowns offensively have been scored by freshmen.
Ellinger steps up, keeps it, and boy, gets drilled. Ross Madison came flying up next to stop.
But Madison does a nice job just running through the tackle on this one. Perfect form, watching the hips. That's what Matt Rule's been preaching all week. They had some issues with tackling, especially in that second half against Oklahoma a week ago. Tracking the inside hip, the near hip. It's exactly what Madison did right there. Great stop.
Keontae Ingram. Trying to get to that outside, and again, Raleigh Tejada. No gain.
Tejada, only 5'10", 180 pounds. But it's not the size of the dog in the fight, right? It's the fight in that dog. Tejada tracked that one all the way, came up, made a nice stop.
He's another one of these football players that's also a member of the track team. 3rd and 9. Pressure is what Baylor's showing. And here it comes. Ehlinger throws and caught. Eagles.
What a great job by Eagles on this one. Ehlinger delivers this ball before Eagles makes his turn. Eagles has his head down as he turns around, but locates that ball, which was a little bit low. Nice job on the reaction there by Eagles to make the catch.
16-yard pickup. And a flag. Here's Mike DeFee.
False start. Offense number 52. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Sam Cosme. How about this play here? Watch Ehlinger kind of walk out, and then a direct snap there to Ingram. Watch this. And Cosme got it. Jumped a little early.
Pulling out all the stops. Might try that one again.
1st and 15. Ehlinger under pressure. Throws incomplete to Duvernay. Blake Lynch makes the stop. 8-yard pickup by the Horns.
Makes Sam Ehlinger so dangerous. It's just his poise, his ability to remain calm under literal fire like that. The blitz comes. Ehlinger stays calm. And makes a nice delivery to Duvernay on the outside.
2nd and 7. That one nearly blown up. Jordan Williams.
And it was Lynch. And it was Lynch right there in Ehlinger's face. And that was again, it's kind of staring in the face of the bear. Literally right there. You see Lynch, number 93, right off the edge. Trying to play both of those guys. I'm not so sure that Ingram wasn't supposed to be moving or blocking on that one. Looked like he was kind of frozen there by like a deer in the headlights with big old Lynch in his face, but Ehlinger knew what to do. Hang on to it. I got to take off.
Rashawn Johnson is checked into the backfield. Ehlinger steps up and sacked. James Lockhart, Jordan Williams as well.
Nice job not getting too high in the pocket. You're going to see, we know that Sam Ehlinger is so dangerous once he takes off, but defenders don't get too high, too far up the field. And once Ehlinger does take off, they're right there to make the stop.
You see the Longhorns, 27 sacks that they've given up. Arnold calls for the fair catch and makes it at his own 14. 44-yard punt. Baylor at football again. They scored last time they had it. Well, it's time now for the Volkswagen Drive Bigger moment of the game. You know, Baylor has done more than 800 hours of community service this year. Now, their biggest charity during the season is visiting the Boys and Girls Club, their after-school program where they interact, play games, help kids with their homework. Baylor cares.
Yeah, we talked about the way that Matt Rule has handled this program, and credit also goes to Athletic Director Mac Rhodes. We'll get into that later.
Here's John Lovett. Give him a yard. Malcolm Roach wrapped him up. 2nd and 9 coming for the Baylor offense. Brewer down the sideline looking for Mims. Double covered. Jalen Green and Caden Stearns, the safety, was there over the top.
Well, you're going to go man-to-man defense here on the outside. That's actually Chris Miller in coverage at corner, pressing Mims. And they're trying to get extra help in the box to help out with that quarterback run, which means you're going to have to take some chances with man-to-man defense on the outside. But when you've got a safety like Caden Stearns that can cover that kind of ground and make those kind of hits to separate receivers from balls, it's a chance worth taking sometimes.
3rd and 9. Brewer throws and broken up. Overshawn has been all over the place here in this first half.
Nice job by Brewer evading the pressure in the backfield. That's Joseph Asai trying to chase him down. But you called it right there. Overshawn gets his head around and almost picks that ball off that was intended for Hasty.
Isaac Power back in the punt. Brandon Jones standing at about his own 47. That's the first 3 and out here for Baylor. Fair caught at their own 41. Sam Ellinger. The Horns offense looking to get on the board. They're down 7-0 here in the second quarter. Well, tonight, world heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder faces Luis Ortiz. It's a rematch, one of the best fights in recent history. It's a blockbuster tonight, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view, or you can order it now on the Fox Sports app.
Who you got, partner?
Man, that's a good one. I think Wilder. But Ortiz looks great. He looks good. Here's Rashawn Johnson. First 3 offensive possessions last week against Iowa State were punts for Texas. First 3 possessions, punts. But Ellinger's going up top. And incomplete. He was looking for Brandon Eagles. So another slow start here for the Longhorn offense.
Well, you talked about these coordinators wanting to be patient in this one. And that was the case right there. Sam just felt that Eagles had a step. And he was going to give his receiver a chance. And that was a risky one, but if you're going to take a chance like that, might as well be 40 or 55 yards downfield.
3 on the play clock. Ellinger to Johnson. And Johnson for 4.
And this is what hurt this Texas offense a week ago against Iowa State when we were there up in Ames. You take a shot like that on first down, you run on second down, you leave yourself third and 6 situation. Not ideal for this offense. You want to try and stay on schedule, and they just have not been able to find any rhythm here over the last couple of weeks offensively.
Here's 3rd and 6. Ellinger steps up, under pressure, and goes down. Madison.
And this Baylor defense really seems to have a bead on this Texas offense. You can see nowhere to go downfield for Sam Ellinger. And Matisic had redirected a receiver on a shallow cross, took that away as an option for Ellinger, and then helps at least to make the stop on him.
This Baylor defense, the #1 scoring defense in the Big 12. They're also tops in the Big 12 in QB pressures. You saw it there. But it's the Baylor offense back on the field when we come back.
My exes live in Texas.
Hey, coming up on the State Farm halftime, number 2 Ohio State faced a huge test against number 8 Penn State. No Tua, no problem for number 5 Alabama. Plus, Oklahoma State and Iowa State tested in each of their Big 12 matchups. That's set to have right now. Because, Robert,
Thank you, Thrill. Man, are you kidding me? The Thrill? This could be the highest-rated halftime in the history of FS1. We got the Thrill. We got Coach Wannstedt. Are you kidding me? That's firepower back there in L.A.
All the greats. And Michael Hasty in the backfield. 1st and 10 from their own 21. Brewer. And that's low to Hasty. Tried to get him out in space.
And Joseph Asai came on the blitz right there, got into the face of Brewer, making him get rid of that ball a little bit early. You can see Todd Orlando, the defensive coordinator, not just going to sit back. They're going to bring some pressure. They're going to force Brewer to make some quick decisions.
Platt in motion. Brewer over the middle. That's complete. R.J. Sneed got a 1st down for Baylor.
Oh, that's a chess match that happens. You're going to bring the blitz. You're going to see Asai blitz here again. You're going to get that ball to Sneed in the vacated area. In that hook zone that Asai would have been occupied.
Brewer again. This time Platt. Deshaun Jamison comes up, makes the hit. 6-yard pickup.
And Baylor's finding the soft spots in this Texas defense. I wonder if this Texas defense is going to play a little bit more man, tighten things up.
Sneed. And close to midfield. Brandon Jones, Chris Brown make the stop. Another 1st down for Baylor. And again, they go with tempo. To the outside, Platt. Flag down. Another flag.
First pass complete to Chris Platt. Penalty marker down.
I think his defender got in the face of the receiver on the outside. I don't know if he grabbed his face mask in that little mix. Looked like he just kind of ran him over. I don't think that the receiver pulled him down.
Holding. Offense, number 13. 10-yard penalties in the previous spot. Replay 1st down.
That's R.J. Sneed, the sophomore out of Cypress, Texas.
You're going to see Sneed, and I saw that he got tied up there on the outside, but I guess they're going to call that on Chris Brown there. Chris Brown just kind of ran him over, but Sneed said, if I'm going down, I'm not going down alone. I guess it just grabbed Brown on the way down, got called for the hold.
Yeah, one of those reverse takedowns, according to our Dean Blandino. Here's Brewer. Leaves it to Hasty. It's across the 40, 4-yard pickup.
Running back coach used to call that popping the toes right there. Nice lateral movement from Hasty, making a couple people miss, getting a couple extra yards out of that. Getting a little bit back, a little bit of that yardage back, try and make this a little bit more manageable so we can get 8-10 yards here maybe on 3rd down, have something manageable, or on 2nd down to have something manageable on 3rd.
Brewer steps up, sack. A day away.
Brewer brought down on the play by a day away.
And a day away gets there, but it's again from the 2nd level of that defense. You're going to see Asai on that blitz again, picked up, but pocket just got a little bit compressed. Nowhere for Brewer to go.
7-yard loss. 3rd and 23 from their own 35. Pressure coming. Brewer steps up, escapes, and takes off. And gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So a 13-yard pickup.
You can see Charlie Brewer does it all. Not scared to get that body up. I'm sure Matt Rule sometimes just tells him, though, hey, we need you healthy. We need you out there playing. But with a guy with a fire burning like that inside of him, that's something that you can't really turn off.
Power punting things away to Brandon Jones. Good Baylor. Special coverage.
Man, what a great directional kick right there as well. Had the nice bounce on it.
49-yard punt. Let's get a game break with Sam Farber.
Gentlemen, next week we're going to have Michigan versus Ohio State on Fox. Today, the 13th-ranked Wolverines in a tight one with Indiana. Shea Patterson to Donovan Peoples-Jones for an 11-yard score. Ties it at 14. Michigan has not lost to the Hoosiers since 1987, but they're in a tie game right now, Brian and Robert.
How about the job Coach Allen has done with those Hoosiers?
They were in a tight one with Penn State late as well, and he has done a tremendous job. Handed over the defensive play calling to Dave Womack's son, Kane. He's done a pretty good job with those guys on that side of the ball. And the offense, no matter who's been at quarterback, they've been able to find answers.
Ehlinger almost sacked in the end zone and just throws it. And caught to the outside, Malcolm Epps. What a job by Sam Ehlinger.
You just cannot rattle Sam Ehlinger. See all kinds of pressure in his face, just steps away from it. Again, arm tackles aren't going to bring him down. Get somebody in his face, able to escape, keep those eyes downfield. Even with big Roy down on him.
What looked like a safety turns into a 15-yard pickup for the Longhorns. This is Ingram to the outside, and Blake Lynch wraps him up.
Yeah, that Texas run game, conventional run game, still struggling. And I know that Tom Herman had challenged those guys. You get the headbutt at the beginning of the game, you try and bring a different energy to it. But you have to credit this Baylor front. Just a three-man front, and people think that because it's a three-man front, you're automatically going to be able to run better against that. And we've seen Iowa State as well really bring a lot of players to help out.
Ingram on the outside, lowers the shoulder, got a first down.
There you go, get some good blocking on the outside. Duvernay, nice block on the outside. And here Sam Ehlinger, after pitching that ball, that's James Lynch. Not a defenseless player at that point. And if he was taking a hit like that, that could have been dangerous for Lynch.
Ingram again after that 13-yard pickup. Give him about 4.
We'll go with a little inside zone right there. Quick hitter. And Ingram able to get some good yards out of that. That's a nice first down play right there. We talked about this offense staying on rhythm. Not falling behind in the chains. That's what that run was right there.
And how important this drive is, considering we're up against the half. Texas will get the football at the beginning of the second half, so you want to put some points on the board. Ehlinger under pressure. Sack. Terrell Bernard.
Boy, Bernard just came like a bullet from the second level of that defense. We talked about Bernard having the surgery on Monday, back at practice on Tuesday. You see him with that cast on. Gets around Parker Braun, number 73. And just way too fast. That's a guy that just hungry to play the game. Physical, focused. and fast.
Baylor leads the Big 12 in sacks coming into this game. That one over the middle to Duvernay and brought down. Ooh, that Baylor defense is stingy.
Henry Black ended up making that stop, and really a lot of Baylor defenders right where they're supposed to be. Defensive coordinator Phil Snow has done a great job. And
Baylor takes their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
we mentioned with Art Briles here and the way this Baylor team was scoring all kinds of points, and didn't seem to matter who was playing quarterback, whether it was RG3 or Petty, and just all kinds of different guys at wide receiver. Dangerous offense. That defense, though, has really improved. Look at those numbers over this season in the conference. First in all of those categories. Really kind of hard to believe considering what we saw out of Baylor the last time 5-6 years ago when they were really rolling, that this defensive side of the ball has improved that much.
Well, they've had 3 or more sacks in 8 of their last 10 games. They've got 3 sacks here today. 36 on the season. School record is 40. Fair catch by Arnold. Let's get in another game break with Sam Farber.
12th-ranked Wisconsin is hosting Purdue on Fox. Jonathan Taylor, the nation's leading scorer with 21 touchdowns. You know what? Make that 22 touchdowns on the season. This is a 51-yard scoring run. It was 14-3 at the time. Purdue has since answered. So 14-10, second quarter, Wisconsin leading. This game is on Fox. Brian and Robert.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Brewer, 9 of 13 for 104 yards through the air. Got a little bit over a minute. Got a couple of timeouts. Charlie escapes. Another Longhorn. And brought down at the 38-yard line. That's a first down.
Malcolm Roach had a shot at him. Joseph Asai had a chance at him. And Brewer able to pick up the yardage on that play, but they're going to have to get moving quickly here.
Under a minute. Looking left, throws, that's complete. Mims spins out, cross midfield, and out of bounds.
Texas brings the heat. Once again, this time it was Chris Brown coming up the middle. Nice delivery to Chris Mims. And Mims does a nice job spinning, getting to the outside, getting out of bounds, stop the clock.
15-yard pickup. They're in Longhorn territory. Brewer now on the run. He just throws that one away.
Pass intended for R.J. Stevens, second down.
And don't forget, at the half, State Farm halftime show, Mike Thrill Hill and Dave Wanstead, both of them standing by. 38 seconds away from that.
Going to be a great show at halftime. Again, our guys back there breaking it down.
Here's 2nd and 10. From the Longhorn 47. Brewer, who had Hasty and missed him.
Pass intended for Michael Hasty. Third down.
Well, Brewer had a chance to get that ball to Hasty to the outside. And it was Ajomo getting out to the flat that really forced Brewer to throw that ball wide. Nice job seeing Hasty leaking out, following him to the flat, forcing a bad throw.
You see Brewer check to see what kind of defense Texas was in. And now Baylor's going to call a timeout.
Baylor takes its second charge team timeout.
Well, we talked
30 seconds.
about the job that Matt Rule has done every year. has improved the win total, and it's nothing new to what he's done. I mean, his first head coaching gig at Temple, they got better in each of his 4 seasons. From 2-10 in 2013 to 10-3 in 2016. He comes here to Baylor, does the same thing. 1-11 in his first year, 7-6 last year, and now sitting at 9-1 this season. And with a victory today, it would be their 10th victory. They would clinch a berth in the Big 12 championship game, which comes your way in 2 weeks. And it would be just the 6th time in program history that Baylor has won 10 or more games.
Yeah, really an incredible job. And again, going back, not just Matt Rule, but athletic director Mac Rhodes and his decision to bring in Matt Rule. Wanted the coach doing it the right way. They certainly have done that. And what an incredible turnaround from all the players leaving the program to Matt Rule really being signed so late in the recruiting process as well.
Texas takes its second time out of the half. 30 seconds.
And Coach Rule talked about this. If they had an early signing period back then, they would have been in some trouble. They only had one guy in that signing class that first week of December. So if there was that early signing period back then, they would have been in some trouble. But they were able to get those guys signed and convince some guys to stay. And I think that's why this senior day is probably as emotional as any, because those guys were freshmen. All these things are breaking down. Those guys have been here now, and this is the 3rd year with Matt Rule.
And I was going to say, to me, that's a salient point, because he talks about that burns him that these seniors now, that they haven't won on senior day, and that's what he wants. These guys were freshmen, Mims and Jordan Williams and Bravion Roy's, those type of guys. He wants to win this game for them. Here's Brewer throwing to the outside, and he was hit as soon as he threw it, too.
Yeah, just not able to get enough on that one to complete that ball to Snead. Just a little bit too much pressure.
So Baylor will have to punt this one away. That means Isaac Power. And he puts another one inside the 5-yard line. 51-yard punt. Hey, more action kicks off tonight on FS1 and Fox. Coming up next, K-State taking on Texas Tech. 8 Eastern, you got TCU battling the Heisman candidate Jalen Hurts and 9th-ranked Oklahoma. You can also catch these games on the Fox Sports app.
Of course, I'm not saying this because we're calling a Big 12 game, but we've had the opportunity to call a lot of Big 12 football this year, and I think you would agree. These teams are all very competitive this year, and even from what we've seen from Kansas, and the teams that have 3 or 4 losses don't really look much different.
How about Keontae Ingram? Keontae all day across the 50 and down at the 30. Big play for Texas. With 4 seconds left, they get a timeout, and they can put some points on the board here. 68-yard run by the sophomore Keontae Ingram.
Well, Dicker, the kickers had some walk-off
third and final timeout of the half. It'll be a 1-minute timeout. Police set the game clock to 5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Nice job. Ingram making people miss at the 2nd and 3rd level of that defense. You see Tejada getting turned around there. Ingram kept cutting that thing back. Most importantly, protected the football at the end of that run.
That was one of those examples when your defense kind of relaxes. You know there's like 20 seconds left. Oh, okay, they're just going to run it up the middle. Could never relax.
Yeah, that's what this game is. That's why it's so frustrating, but it's also so entertaining. And again, it's easy to say up here in the press box when you're a coach and you have to rely on 17 to 22-year-olds to stay focused for 60 minutes at least a game.
And you see Ingram is walking off to the locker room there. So after that run, looked like he heard a little something. He's going to go back to the locker room early. So here's Cameron Dicker, the kicker. This will be from 48 yards out. His career long 57. Did that one against Rice in week 3. Baylor's going to call a timeout.
Baylor takes their third and final timeout. That'll be a 1-minute timeout.
Here's a look at the standings in the Big 12. Baylor and Oklahoma right there at the top. Again, with a victory, Baylor clinches their spot in the Big 12 championship game. And then you have Texas at 4-3. And certainly not eliminated. When you talk about clinching a spot in the Big 12 championship games, obviously they'd have to win out and need a lot of help.
You want to walk us through some of those scenarios?
No way.
Are you sure?
No way. Too many of them. By the way, the Bears have blocked 5 kicks this season. That's tied for the most in the country.
Yeah, and those are complicated scenarios. And it was, geez, it's been a while now. Back when Texas Tech, Texas, and I believe Oklahoma were in a 3-way tie. Those tiebreakers became important.
Dicker, the kicker, from 48. Good. As time expires, the Horns get on the board, and we roll to the half with Baylor with a 7-3 lead. And keep in mind, the Horns have the football when we begin the second half.
Dicker, the kicker, became famous. State of Texas, you win it, you kick a field goal that's going to allow you to win the Red River rivalry game. That's what he did last year as a freshman. Tom Herman's loving it.
Coach Herman loves it. Here in Waco, 7-3 is our score. Let's send you to Los Angeles for the State Farm halftime show. Got a defensive battle here in Waco. Baylor with a 7-3 lead over Texas as we get ready to begin the second half. Brian Custer alongside Robert Smith, and it seems like in that first half both teams intent on running the football. That's how Baylor scored their touchdown, and then the Baylor defense fell asleep right before the half and allowed the Longhorns to get on the football on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but both of these defenses doing a pretty good job containing the opposing offenses in this one. This is kind of what we've seen in the Big 12 this year. Texas really has started slow. They did it a week ago, did it back in the Red River rivalry game. Only scored 3 points in the first half in that one. But as you can see right here, John Lovett, nice job following his blockers, getting it into the end zone for Baylor. And then it was this run at the end of the first half. Keontae Ingram does a nice job negotiating the traffic. And as you mentioned it, you take a little mental lapse on any play and something like that can happen. And then Dicker, the kicker, who's had so many walk-off wins, had a walk-off field goal to end the first half.
You see the Longhorns had the football longer than Baylor, but again, offensively really couldn't do too much with it until right before the half where they get that long run, that 68-yard run by Keontae Ingram, his career long.
They're fielded on the sideline.
They are. Texas will begin the second half here on offense.
Looked like one of your frat parties. Little step contest on the sideline.
KA side getting it in. The thing missing was the cane. Here's some of the offensive leaders for Sam Ehlinger. 9-13, 70 yards through the air, 22 of them on the ground. Devin Duvernay, he's got 3 catches for 17 yards. No Colin Johnson again for Texas. Rashawn Johnson checks into the game. He's your tailback. And Ehlinger keeps it. He's got a first down and more. Jordan Williams Mims makes the stop, 15-yard pickup for the Longhorns.
He's just such a dangerous runner. We talk about how big he is, 230 pounds, but you could see the acceleration, how quickly he can get on defenders, and that's why it's a business decision in some of their minds when they go to tackle Big Sam. They don't want to take a guy like that head on. He's such a dangerous player.
From their own 40. Ellinger under pressure. Sack. James Lynch.
He's got the number now.
He's now the all-time sack leader for Baylor.
Boy, it's been, what, 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah,
since he had a sack. He's
been looking for it for a while.
Been anxious to get this one. See him work a nice little spin move on the backside there, and they got him matched up against the tight end. Freshman tight end on the backside, and it's not a good matchup for anybody single against Lynch, especially a tight end.
Ellinger, QB run again. Across the 40. Took a lick, too, as he was going down. 5-yard pickup. Take a look at this as he's going down.
Well, that's Miller who had missed a game because he had 3 targeting calls earlier in the season. And the new rule is when you have 3 targeting calls in a year, you automatically miss a game. And he comes in late there. But, you know, with Sam going head first on that one and not sliding, you don't have to pull off.
She had 19 possessions. Last 19 resulted in punts for the Longhorns. 19 possessions, 14 punts, and they'll have to punt this one away. It almost hamstrings your offense when you got a guy as dynamic as Colin Johnson out. So now, if you're Baylor, you can roll some coverage over to Duvernay and say, okay, we're going to stop the run, and it really hamstrings your offense.
Yeah, it really does. And, you know, if you're Texas, you're a Texas fan, you're saying we should have more of those guys anyway. And remember, Duvernay wasn't even a Texas commit in the first place. He was committed to Baylor.
That's the problem. They're looking, whether it's Epps or Eagles or Devontae Woodard, they're looking for a second receiver.
Yeah, I mean, you're the University of Texas. You just got to recruit. You got to get some of those guys in, and you never want to use those things as excuses. And of course, the staff never would. But when you're evaluating a program and people ask this question, is Texas back? You got to. If you're really back, then you have to do more than be successful with the previous regime's recruits. You have to be able to bring guys in and develop them yourself.
41-yard punt. 1st and 10 for Baylor. This is hasty. 4-yard pickup.
And that's a good run right there. Good positive yards. Staying on that schedule, going to a 2nd and 6 gives you a lot of options to either convert or to have a nice and manageable 3rd down.
Brewer, the RPO, throwing on the run and throws it away. There's the flag.
Might have been some lineman downfield.
You can see that rule.
I don't think they're going to call intentional grounding on that one. I don't know where he was going with that ball. It looked like he had room to run.
There is no foul on the play for ineligible downfield. The quarterback was outside the pocket and legally grounded the ball out of bounds. 3rd down.
So there you go.
Threw it to Matt Rule.
Oh, Coach, you got to make that catch.
Just a bit high for him. And, you know, you can see Coach Rule has not been working on his vertical jump.
I saw him in the weight room too yesterday. he's got to come down with that.
It's okay. He'll work on that one another day. It's all about the players. It's not about the coach for Matt Rule.
3rd and 6. Mims at the top of your screen. Brewer throws to him, and Mims breaks the tackle. And it's a first down. 20-yard pickup.
You're going to see Miller on the coverage on the outside. It's kind of an unusual route. Mims kind of turns to the inside, but Brewer does a nice job throwing Mims open on that one. Throws the ball away from Miller so that Mims can get it.
Brewer keeps it and pulled down, and a flag. Jaquan Graham, the horse collar.
I mean, it's going to be a horse collar call. I'm not so sure that it was actually a horse collar. You can see the referees having a conference in there. They see a ball carrier go down that way. A lot of times they assume that it was in that area, but we'll see.
Face mask or horse collar.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 49. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
You see Graham here. Oh, yeah, he goes for it there.
Grabbed it.
And he pulls the back of the jersey, but not in the horse collar area.
Right.
But going in for the tackle, definitely grabbed the face mask.
So now Baylor in Longhorn territory. First down from the Texas 48. They go two tight ends. Play fake to Hasty. Brewer steps up, takes off, and slides. 2-yard pickup. Here's Charlie Brewer. Father Robert. His grandfather both played quarterback at Texas. In fact, his father Robert was MVP of the '82 Cotton Bowl. His uncle played at Texas as well. This is a game he wants badly. Over the middle, open, Mims, and for a block. Fumbled the football, out of bounds.
Mims, nice job getting underneath the Texas coverage here, right in the middle of the field. And like we saw earlier in the game from Chris Platt, when he fumbled that ball, got to protect that ball downfield. Luckily for Mims, that one gets out of bounds before any Texas defender can get to it.
26-yard pickup. That was Demarion Overshawn again for Texas. Man, he has made plays all over the field. Swiped at that. Brewer, quarterback run. Bounces off a Longhorn and brought down inside the 10. Chris Brown makes the stop.
Well, he is not a big player, but look at him, just lowers it down. Nice block there by Khalil Keith.
First red zone possession of the game for either team. 12-yard pickup. And let's see, we got a flag here. Is that Keandre Coburn?
I think it's Coburn right over the center here.
Offside. Defense, number 49. 5-yard penalty. I'm sorry. Half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
Oh, no, this is going to be Jaquan Graham.
Yep, you're right. Jaquan Graham, the junior out of Temple.
And defensive coaches, that drives them crazy because you're right over the ball. That's your job. Watch that ball. When it moves, you go. Don't listen to the quarterback's cadence.
And again, defleets, and he stopped short. Chris Brown makes the stop. Brought down at the 1, and Baylor will line up with tempo. Hasty in the backfield. Brewer, quarterback keep, over to the left side.
No signal. They're going to uncover the pile here, see if he's over the goal line. Confer. They may call this a touchdown after the fact. Yep. Well, going to call third down.
They're going to mark it right there at the goal line.
They're going to want to take a look at it. Baylor's going to want the booth to take a look at it. And remember, the call on the field is assumed to be correct, and there's nothing in that jumble right there that we see right now. See somebody pulling some pants. That's about it. Don't see the ball cross the plane at the goal line.
Brewer keeps it again. Down. Touchdown. Baylor.
Charlie Brewer is going to be able to say to Matt Brewer, let me show you how to elevate a little bit, coach.
10th rushing touchdown of the season for Charlie Brewer. 17th of his career.
It's that little jump, gets the ball across goal line. Following this man, Khalil Keith again. Keith's done a nice job getting in front of his man Brewer a couple times. Saw on that run earlier as well.
Extra point is good. Baylor, 9 plays, 87 yards, and it's capped off by Charlie Brewer with the TD. Baylor up 14-3 on the Longhorns. FS1 College Football, it is sponsored by Edward Jones. It's time for investing to feel individual. Senior Day here in Waco, and a special one. A number of these seniors, Bravion Roy, Henry Black, and Baylor up 14-3. Charlie Brewer with his 10th rushing touchdown this season. He's now got 8 rushing touchdowns in the last 6 games. Brewer and Matt Rule trying to beat these Texas Longhorns for the first time.
And they had a chance last year, had some shots. Goal line, or not at the goal line, but down in the red zone towards the end of the game. Had 3 shots to the end zone. Weren't able to get any of those in, only down 6. The party continues on the sideline.
It is lit here in Waco. Rauschenberg kick things away. Jamison back deep. And Charlie Brewer. He can throw it, and he can run it. And his Bears are on top 14-3. Win the third quarter. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. Second offensive possession here the second half for the Texas Longhorns. Sean Johnson in the backfield. And the offensive struggles continue for Texas. Yet to see Keontae Ingram had that big run to end the first half. Ellinger through the air, man open, and that's Duvernay. J.T. Woods trying to cover him, but Duvernay, big catch, 29 yards, and now the Longhorns will go with tempo. They're in Baylor territory at the 46. There's Johnson. Blake Lynch makes the stop.
Trying to get that run cranked up a little bit right there, but Lynch, that versatile threat on the defense, played like 6 different positions since he's been here at Baylor. Started 5 of them.
We just learned that Keontae Ingram is out for the rest of this game with an ankle injury. He had that 68-yard run right before the end of the first half. Set up the field goal for Texas.
And Texas has got to have some other guys step up in this offense. Can't just be Duvernay and Ellinger. Now with Ingram being out, somebody's got to step up.
Over the middle. Caught, hit. Johnson, Jordan Williams put the lick on it.
A nice gain right there, manageable. Third down. Let's see, Williams does a nice job reacting to the throw. Good clean hit right there. A nice job by Sean Johnson, the converted quarterback playing running back.
3rd and 3. Duvernay in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Ellinger goes up top, though. Throws to the outside, the Eagles, and knocked away by Jamison Houston, the best cover corner for the Bears.
Great technique by Houston on the outside. And just no chance for Ellinger really to fit that thing in. You can see Houston does a nice job reaching that arm in. Even if that ball had gotten into the hands of the receiver, been hard to hang on to that one because he did a nice job raking his hands across the arms. Great technique, execution there by Houston as a defensive back.
Second pass breakup. This is 4th and 3. Ellinger through the air and low. Again, they went to Eagles, and again, it was Houston who said, not on senior day.
Well, this is one you're going to see Eagles on the outside here. I think he has to break back on this one. He doesn't. Another incompletion. 4th down. Texas turning over on downs.
Well, before the NFL games kick off tomorrow, download the Fox Sports Super 6 app. Play Super 6 NFL Sunday free. A chance to win some of Terry Bradshaw's money.
Got the gold embroidered robe there. That's standard fare for our man, Terry Bradshaw. He won all them Super Bowls, especially with the rules. Quarterbacks could get hit back then.
Here's John Lovett. Scored a touchdown in the first half. Chris Brown wraps him up. Give him a yard.
See that run game here for Baylor. They're going to want to bleed clock here in the second half. That Texas defense has been on the field a lot. This is where you keep grinding. That analogy to boxing that we use with the body blows, and then Texas getting worn out. All of a sudden, you pop a big run.
There's Brewer. Cuts it to the outside. Across midfield and runs out of bounds. First down for Baylor.
He does a nice job. Brewer here. Little pop to the outside. That's poor defense too. You have to take proper angles. You didn't see that out of the Texas secondary on that one. It's a quarterback running the ball, and yes, he's a little shifty, but it's not running back shifty. Got to make that play coming up as a defender.
Well, they said he's got some good 4.6 speed. Here's Lovett. Malcolm Roach. Comes up and makes the stop. Second down coming.
Texas is going to be playing tighter man coverage here, trying to get extra people into the box. This is when opportunities also open up to get a one-on-one matchup and a shot downfield.
Brewer. Love it. And he's wrapped up. Chris Brown makes the stop. 3-yard pickup. Baylor will be looking at 3rd and 6. And it looks like Xavier Newman, the junior out of DeSoto, Texas, who's the injured Baylor Bear. Well, they tend to Xavier. We'll take a break. 14-3 our score here in Waco. got a huge doubleheader on Fox. It's highlighted by America's Game of the Week. Dak Prescott and those Cowboys take on Tom Brady and the Patriots, one of the biggest games of the year. Plus, Rob Gronkowski, he joins the guys on the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. Catch it all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Xavier Newman getting help off the field, rolled that right ankle.
Stepped on one of his own players, and he weighed 307 pounds, and get that foot turned like that can do some damage.
Here's 3rd and 6. Brewer. Maybe a yard. He's forced out of bounds. Ayodele a day away.
Looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down. The way your defense is playing, where you are on the field, and of course the fact that you have not beaten Texas in your tenure as a Baylor coach. You'd be a little bit aggressive.
Longhorns looked like they were going to bring pressure. And Brewer throws to the outside and caught. Denzel Mims, the senior. Big time catch as some of the Longhorns jump, so it was a free play.
Oh, what a catch by Mims. Nice reaction. And the timing throw. You're going to see the jump on the defensive line. Roach on the left-hand side of that line. Look at that fingertip grab. And having that left foot down.
Completed catch. Offside, defense number 49. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
Yeah, see if they take a look at that one, because he had the ball on his fingertips, and it looks like that left foot may have just started to come off the ground. Not sure if he had full control before that shoulder hits out of bounds. See if they stop this to take a closer look at it.
Dean Blandino says that catch was good. Denzel Mims.
Ruling on the field is a completed catch.
Now
that plays under
6.
further review.
He doesn't catch it cleanly as he first gets his hands on it. Looks like he gets his fingertips on the ball, and as he's repositioning it, one of his feet comes off of the ground, and then it looks like a shoulder hits out of bounds. So I think we need a rules expert, really, though, to get the best opinion.
Dean Blandino joins us from Los Angeles. All right, Dean, what'd you see, bud?
It's close, and I agree with Robert saying, when does he get control of the football? To me, he's got the left foot down. He doesn't stick the catch, but he's going to bring it into his body, and that left knee is going to hit the ground. He's going to maintain that control. I don't see a loss of control there. There's some movement, but I don't see a loss of control. I like this as a catch and feel the call should stand.
Okay, Dean, thanks, bud.
Such a great job, with the reaction, seeing it on the sideline, pulling it in, and
after further review, the ruling on the field of a completed catch is confirmed, 1st down.
Dean Blandino's right on it. Denzel Mims is now 6th on the Baylor all-time catch list.
What a great job by Mims, not only pulling that ball in, but having the field awareness and the body control. And I didn't see that knee. That left knee comes down before his shoulder hits out of bounds. Just a great job. But a nice throw from Charlie Brewer, and Brewer knew he had a free one right there. Remember, it was the offsides on the field goal attempt last week that cost Iowa State at the end of the game. They got to watch the ball.
Here's Brewer. Quarterback run. Oh! And he gets popped. Chris Brown.
Excuse me, they cost Texas at the end against Iowa State last week.
You Charlie Brewer, you got business decision. You got to slide.
Hey, I mean, they're not going to come up and say hi. Like, you got to get those pads down. He's got to know. You're right. You got to make a decision. You either get out of bounds on that one or you lower the shoulder. You stay high like that, and you're going to take a big-time pop, which is exactly what happened.
You see Coburn almost jumped on that one. He's right over the center. Brewer throwing to Mims. Incomplete.
Just not able to control that one. Jalen Green in the coverage. They've got him pressed up. I don't know why Jalen doesn't try and get some sort of jam off the line of scrimmage. I know he's dangerous, but he's going to have safety help late. Jones, safety, has to get over and help on that one. You see, almost controlled that one. Jalen Green did a nice job just sticking his hand up at the last second there and knocking that ball loose, or Mims would have pulled that one in.
3rd and 9. Brewer again to the outside, and incomplete to Atkinson, and a flag.
And that's going to be Green again on the coverage there on the outside. And Atkinson and Brewer trying to pull off the back shoulder throw on this one. And as Atkinson gets turned around, Green tugs on him.
Pass interference. Defense number 3. It's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You can see him.
It didn't let go.
Yeah, you can see him grabbing that jersey, and again, doesn't get a jam off the line of scrimmage, and not exactly sure why. You're pressed up like that. You want to disrupt the route and the timing of routes. Slow that receiver down, get a little bit of a jam at the line, can accomplish that. You lose a step and want to grab. That's exactly what he did.
Going from Mims, and no sticky paw, snags it in. Touchdown, Baylor.
Great delivery here, and you can see the reaction. Excuse me. Here wasn't the reaction shot. Little play action fake down low, but he goes up high for Mims. And Jamison just not able to get a hand around. And Mims did a tremendous job there, not just pulling the ball down, but getting his body turned to prevent Jamison from having any chance to dislodge the ball as he's going to the ground. Again, such a great job with the hands, the body control. It's just a good, smart play as a receiver, understanding that the defender still ain't going to have a chance to knock the ball, so use your body, not just to shield him from the initial part of the catch, but through the control portion of the catch.
11th touchdown catch of the season for Denzel Mims. He's 10th in the FBS. And needs just one more to move into 3rd place all-time in Baylor history. Extra point is good. And another look at the TD catch by Denzel Mims as he goes up and snatches it. And Charlie Brewer said, "That's my guy." 21-3, Baylor. 21-3. Baylor rolling here in Waco. Thanks to Denzel Mims with that touchdown catch. You can take a look at the career. Only player right now in the FBS with 8 or more touchdown catches in each of the last 3 seasons. He's got 11 now this season. Last time Baylor had beaten Texas here in Waco, that go back 6 years ago. 2013, it was the final game at Floyd Casey Stadium. And it was also the day that Baylor clinched their first ever Big 12 Conference Championship. They're trying to clinch a spot in the Big 12 Championship game with a victory today.
How about that? A couple years after being 1-11 to now be in a position to win the Big 12.
Yeah, that guy's probably one of the hottest coaches in America right now. If you're Tom Herman, what do you got to do to get these Longhorns rolling again?
Well, quarterback run was effective earlier in this game from Sam Ehlinger. You don't want to wear him out, but he's really been the only option. So maybe try and get that run going with Johnson. I think you still need to try and mix things up and not just throw the ball all over the place.
No Keontae Ingram, so Ehlinger will keep it. And takes a big hit at the 30. Jordan Williams makes the hit, 5-yard pickup.
And it's a huge hit Sam Ehlinger takes right here. And I know the guy's a running tank, but my goodness, you can only take so many of those.
Here's Johnson.
There you go.
Down.
That's what they need.
9-yard pickup, moves the chains, and now Texas will go with some tempo. Under a minute left here in the third. Run blitz by the Bears. And Johnson picks up about 4 more. Henry Black giving 5, makes the stop.
And Johnson does a nice job of making Chris Miller miss on that one. Miller doesn't miss a lot of tackles. And that's what this Texas run game is really needed, is these running backs to make people miss, whether it had been Ingram and now Johnson again. They were so thin at running back. Johnson's playing running back, and he came in here as a quarterback. Changed to running back beginning of this season. So they've really been banged up at that position.
Last play of this quarter. Ehlinger to the outside. It was intended for Epps. A second still left on the clock.
Like he was a little bit late on that throw. May have even had Duvernay down the middle of the field. One more chance here in the third quarter. Big third down.
Ehlinger steps up and gets the ball to Double D. Duvernay with the catch. It's a first down, and that's the end of the third quarter. 21-3, our score, fourth quarter, when we come back. Beginning the fourth quarter. Baylor up 21-3. This is a Baylor squad 15-1 when they're leading or tied in the fourth quarter. They're 7-0 against unranked teams this season. Horns from midfield. Pressure, they set up the screen, incomplete. They're looking to Rashawn Johnson. Now Baylor have given up 106 points in the fourth quarter. That's more than the first 3 quarters combined, which is 102. And you remember Coach Rule said the biggest lesson they learned from that Oklahoma game was do not watch the clock, just play.
And finish games. And they really had that thing sniffed out right there. Bringing the blitz, but expecting the screen.
And Texas is a team that scores their most points in the fourth quarter. And he's going for the bomb and picked up. Braylon Arnold. He brings it back to the 34-yard line. And Ehlinger right thought, but that pass was short.
The pass was short, and that's Arnold's 5th interception on the season. Ball hawk. And Sam Ehlinger is going to try and get the ball down to Eagles, but just doesn't get enough on this. He had all kinds of time. There was a little bit of pressure late that prevented him from stepping into that throw fully, but he's got to get that ball, and if he gets that ball out earlier, the Eagles would have been all alone down there, probably walks into the end zone. You can see Arnold taking advantage of the opportunity right there.
And unfortunately for Ehlinger, he's now thrown 7 interceptions here in the last 5 games. That's the second most here in the Big 12 since week 8. And this is Lovett. Stiff arm. And picks up a first down. As he gave Jalen Green the business.
And John Lovett, you see him get nice and physical here. Get low, extend that arm, mug.
Get off me.
And it can be demoralizing for a defense when you can't stop the run. And especially in a situation like this when you're down in the ball game, 21-3, you've got to stop the run at this point.
Here's Lovett, and that will give him the first down. As the Bears now will start to pound away at this clock and this defense. That's the 22nd takeaway by this Baylor defense, most in the Big 12.
Both of these staffs told us that the most physical team was going to win this game. You know, it's that time of year, you know, talk about people being banged up. It's football. 11 weeks in the season, everybody's banged up. How bad do you want it? Everybody says that they want to win, but are you willing to do the things that it takes to prepare and then to execute the right way? That's what we're seeing today.
Brewer to the outside, looking for Thornton, and it's short. Jamison on the coverage, there's a flag.
Yeah, and I think Thornton is going to get a flag for offensive interference on this one. Looks like he pushes back. On the defensive side here.
Defense number 5.
Wow, this must have been earlier because Thornton definitely pushes back. Wow. I don't agree with that call right there because it looks like Thornton pushes back on Jamison just before the ball gets there. And the ball was a little bit short, a little bit of contact, but if anything, I'm throwing the flag on offense right there.
So it's a first down for Baylor. They're now at the Texas 39. Two on the play clock. And they'll call a timeout. That's awful. Let's take a break. Matt Rule and his Bears up 18 here in the fourth. – 21-3, our score. Academic Ambitions, sponsored by SoFi. Get your money right. You know, this week it was confirmed. 30 Baylor players earned Big 12 academic all-conference honors this season. That's a program record.
Talk about doing things the right way. Ultimately, that's what it's about.
Yeah, really.
I mean, you're a student athlete, and they want the type of young men that are committing on the field and off of the field.
Brewer keeps it up the middle.
Stearns does a nice job slicing down from the edge of the defense and making the stop there.
Charlie got up a little gingerly.
Stearns got in right down around his ankles. He's kind of stretching that hip out a little bit.
2nd and 9. 38.5, Texas.
They're bleeding that clock down for good reason. Below 10 seconds now.
Mims has got a one-on-one at the bottom. And that's where he's looking to. Mims caught. Denzel Mims, the senior, 26 yards.
Jalen Green on the coverage again. And you called it. Get Mims in coverage like that, even when he gets spun around, even taking the hit from Caden Stearns coming over at the end of that play, still finds a way to hang on.
Love it. Give him a yard.
Got a player down.
Was that Fru Morgan?
Yeah.
Jake. He's a senior out at Tampa. As they take a look at the senior. Let's take a break. 21-3 our score. 12 minutes left in this game. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. 12 minutes left in this game. Baylor up 21-3. We're in the fourth quarter. Baylor Bears with the football at the 11. And Xavier Newman has checked back into the game. He rolled his right ankle, but he's going to come back in with Fru Morgan now injured. And this is 2nd and 9 from the 11. Brewer keeps it. Takes a hit. Brought down at about the 6. And he took another big shot.
See him getting up very gingerly after this one. A lot of players converging on him simultaneously. So making those hits.
You can see the ref even asked him a question. They wanted to see if he was okay. I think they're going to ask him to come out of the game. This is the second most Brewer has rushed for in a game. 109 yards is his career high. Right now he's run for 75 on 18 carries. That means Gary Bohannon will have to come in, the redshirt freshman.
And you're going to see
That's hit right there.
You get the head moving in multiple directions like that. You don't even need to get hit in the head to have a concussion. It's really that whiplash effect of the head moving around and the brain inside of the skull moving around freely. And when you have multiple hits from different directions, you really get a lot of shake up there. And, with the injuries on the line, got to be really careful.
And that's a big delay of game. Bohannon, he's a redshirt freshman. And you see Matt Rule call the timeout right before.
Timeout of the half.
Right before they could draw that penalty, that delay of game.
But what I was saying is you've got some injuries stacking up here on the offensive line, and Brewer, you need to be careful with him. You have the game to finish off the season next week. You're automatically going to be in the Big 12 championship after this week, possibly have a rematch with Oklahoma in a couple weeks. And remember, Big 12 different than the other conferences. Every team plays every team, so it's a full 9-conference game schedule with only 10 teams. But there's automatically a rematch of the very top 2 teams in the conference in the Big 12 championship.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Dean Blandino. And Dean, I know targeting is a big focus on here. What do you think? Would they even look at that or what?
They should be looking at it. 2 hits on Brewer that concern me. The hit by 23, they're lowering the head and initiating contact with the crown. And then you have the second hit with the defender dropping his head and making helmet-to-helmet contact. Replay official can stop the game and look for all elements of targeting. And, again, we still have a delay here, so we'll see if they stop it. But no flag on the field. Replay can create it.
Okay, Dean, thanks.
You mentioned, or Dean mentioned, hitting with the crown of the helmet, and the issue with Brewer being a runner and not a defenseless player.
Looking for Mims, the fade. Incomplete, a tie-up with Jalen Green. And those two have been jawing all evening long. And Mims wanted a call.
See Green matched up in the coverage, and Mims has gotten the best of it most of the day. And Mims really was grabbing onto the jersey of Green right there. And it's football, right? I mean, it's a physical game. It's not two-hand touch. Mims was a little upset on that one.
So here's John Mayers from 24 yards out. 10 of 13 on the season. And he drills it. And Baylor up 24-3. Less than 11 minutes to play. Welcome back. We take a look at the TireRack.com game summary. Charlie Brewer has thrown for 221 yards. He's run for 75. Took a big hit and had to leave the game. Baylor on 3rd down, 5 and 11. Baylor is 10 minutes, 57 seconds, and Matt Rule from getting his first victory over Texas and a spot in the Big 12 championship game. McLean Stadium sold out for the 2nd straight week. And let's get in a game break at Amber Theo Harris.
All right, let's go to Madison. Purdue at number 12, Wisconsin. Out of the Wildcat, Garrett Groshek. He runs it 6 yards for the score. The Badgers nearing 300 yards now on the ground in this game. It's 31-17. Badgers in the 3rd. If Wisconsin holds on to win, they'll face Minnesota for the Big Ten West title next week, Brian and Robert.
Okay, Amber, thank you. There's Sam Ehlinger.
Maybe even more important than the Big Ten West, it's for Paul Bunyan's ads.
Yes.
The coolest trophy in all of sport.
You're right. Ehlinger, plenty of time, steps up, he'll slide. Tempo for Texas, they get lined up. To the outside, Duvernay. He can't escape Braylon Arnold. He's already got an interception.
When you want to get the ball into your playmakers' hands,
And look who's going to have 10 there, Robert. Here's Charlie Brewer. Took that big hit.
oh, yeah.
3rd and 3 for Texas.
Not going to be any reason to get him back in the game.
Plenty of time again. Steps up. And he runs for a 1st down. Blake Lynch makes the stop. Under 10 minutes left. And Charlie Brewer, look at that. He's getting some assistance and walking back to the locker room. Ehlinger dumps it off to Johnson. 6-yard pickup. Brewer, 16 to 25, 221, and a touchdown pass. He's also run for 75 yards. He's got a rushing TD as well.
You can see him shaking his head as he's going there to the locker room, and been there with. I don't want to speculate.
Well, that was one of the things
he's had a concussion, but he may be entering the concussion protocol.
That was one of the things Dean Blandino said. Maybe they should have taken another look at that. Ehlinger over the middle, complete to Epps. In Baylor territory. Under 9 minutes left. 18-yard pickup for the Longhorns. Duvernay caught, dropped. Terrell Bernard. He's always going to be over the middle. Usually they use him as a spy on Ehlinger. That was too high for Eagles.
Yeah, just a little bit too much heat on that one as well. Ehlinger threw that ball before Eagles had a chance to turn around. Eagles gets his head around, and because that ball was high in combination with him getting his head around so late, spotting the ball so late in the air, wasn't able to elevate quickly enough to get his hands on that one to make the catch.
Third and 4 for the Longhorns. From the Baylor 33. Ehlinger. Caught. And Epps. It looks like we've got a flag.
And Kalen Barnes was on the coverage there the whole way on Epps. Barnes, one of those track guys, aren't many people that are going to run away from him. Epps has the speed, but not that kind of speed.
Personal foul. Number 56 on the offense, hitting a player on the ground. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay third down.
That's Zach Shackelford, the senior out of Belton, Texas.
And that's one of those frustration plays right there. You can see some guys on the offensive line trying to, that's too late. And I think they're going to get a flag on
unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 73. The 15-yard penalty, third down.
Oh, it's starting to melt.
Yeah, you can see Parker Braun kind of losing it to one of the officials and some of his teammates trying to grab him and pull him back. It was pretty clear that he was upset about the initial call on that one, and his guys were trying to kind of back him up from the cliff there, but he must have said some magic words there that got the refs to throw the flag on him. And that's just undisciplined play. That's frustration. That's being down 24-3 in this ball game. There's not any excuses.
Yep. But he's getting escorted out.
Yep.
They're like, look, take him on out of here. You know, when we had that long talk with Coach Herman, he challenged his guys for this game. Said this is a character game for us.
And there's not a lot they're going to look at this film and like on the offensive side of the ball. And to only have 3 points in this game, really haven't been able to find an answer defensively, especially for Mims. Remember, this is a Texas team that scored 38 points against the #1 team in the country, LSU, earlier in the year. And they have gone downhill both offensively and defensively.
And usually loaded. They've got the third best recruiting class. Always loaded with 5-star guys. And hit. James Lynch lights up Ellinger. Fourth down coming.
When you see Sam Ellinger tries to step up into the pocket here. And look at the effort by Lynch, just never stopping on that one. Had to take such a wide route to get back to Ellinger. Evades a couple of extra blockers, and he's able to pursue Ellinger and hit him just as he's getting ready to throw the ball.
The guard. And nailed down it at the 11. Baylor Bears, 7 minutes, 33 seconds away from their 10th win of the season. (24-3) our score. Gary Bohannon remains in the football game, the redshirt freshman out of rural Arkansas. Charlie Brewer took a big hit. Baylor's last offensive possession. Hasty in the backfield.
They've used Bohannon in some wildcat type situations, a lot of red zone runs earlier in the year. So definitely a dangerous runner.
False start. Offense, number 52. Half 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's on Tecklenburg. So now from their own 5. Bohannon keeps it. Brought down at the 13.
Yeah, Bohannon's at got a demoralized defense and had some trouble stopping the run down in a situation like this. This is gut check time for a defense. You got a big quarterback like that. You've got Jermichael Hasty, powerful runner in the backfield. Let's see what kind of effort you get stopping the run here.
Bohannon runs into his own player, bounces off, and takes a big hit at about the 11. Joseph Osai.
Well, he's certainly not someone you would look at on the defensive side of the ball and say that he's the reason they've been struggling. Joseph Osai has been making plays for this defense all year long. A high-energy guy. Made a lot of plays in a lot of different ways. Forced some fumbles, QB hurries, pass breakups, and a lot of tackles to go
in a
with
second, and it looks like they're going to get a delay of game. This is what happens when you got a redshirt freshman. Let's see if they got a timeout in.
Second timeout of the half.
Nope, got the timeout.
Let's take a look at our All-State mayhem moment. And it comes from the senior on senior day, Denzel Mims, in that third quarter. Mims, 7 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. That's our All-State mayhem moment.
It's a complete package. You can see, being a senior, of course, he'll be back here next year, but I believe we will see him on Sundays. He's a guy that will probably get drafted. And he does it all. You can see he separates well from defenders, catches the ball with his hands away from the frame of his body, controls the ball well, can move it, position it away from defenders, which is so important in the NFL because defensive backs are right there, number one, and they do a great job of really continuing to fight throughout the process of the catch to try and keep you from controlling the ball to the ground. He moves well after the catch. Great body control near the sideline, as we saw earlier. So really nothing lacking in the toolkit for a wide receiver from Denzel Mims.
Here's 3rd and 10, empty set for Bohannon. Receiver screen, Chris Platt. And Malcolm Roach grabs him, brings him down, and we got a flag on the play.
Could be a hold. One of those receivers or one of those linemen that came out.
It looks like Texas is going to decline it.
Illegal block in the back on the offense, number 81. The penalties decline, 4th down.
So Baylor will punt this one away. And again, Matt Rule, in his 3rd season at Baylor, has improved the record every season. And the only 2 teams he's yet to beat in the conference, Oklahoma and Texas. Looking for his first win over Texas.
And think about the things that he did. Get to it in a second here.
Yeah, another flag.
Mark it out.
Obviously, Mike DeFee and his crew going to stay tonight in Waco. They don't have any flights out of here after. They're getting their money's worth today.
You sound like somebody that might have a flight to catch. Some of us live up in the DFW and don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach Rule. I'll be with you.
There is no foul on the play.
Exactly. So help me figure this out. Robert Smith, when you talk about Texas. Because when you look at Tom Herman, look, he, Matt Rule, both 44, both in their third seasons. Now, listen, some people will look at it and say, you might want to, some people forget Texas had 3 straight losing seasons before Tom Herman came on. But this is a guy who brings in top recruiting classes, and yet here they are sitting at 6-4. He even told us when we talked to him, our season won't be defined by that Saturday loss at Ames, but it could be depending on how we respond against Baylor. I know they've had injuries, but from an offensive standpoint, really can't move the football. Defensively, getting worn down by teams. It's going to be hot and heavy in Austin.
It is definitely going to be hot and heavy. And you know, I'm not making excuses for anybody, and I'm sure the coaching staff wouldn't want any excuses made for them. A lot of turnover on the defensive side of the ball. The big question mark for me is this offensive side of the ball. And again, this is a team that put up 38 points. Now, LSU has had its struggles on the defensive side of the ball, but this is a team that put up 38 points in that game against LSU, the #1 team in the country, and then for things not to go well here at the end, you know, you've got some injuries. Everybody has injuries. Everybody gets injuries. So that's the really concerning part for me, that they weren't able to find more of those replacements. Now, some of them have been close games. We've seen teams very evenly matched in the Big 12, but this performance today, as you said, it wasn't the performance in Ames a week ago that we were a part of. This is not saying good things about this Texas team right now.
Especially when you've challenged the team, a number of the players, and the coach said, hey, look, this is a character game. He's going to show what we're about. And they've got Texas Tech next week. And look, this is a Texas squad on pace to finish unranked for the 8th time in the last 10 seasons. 10th consecutive season with 4 or more losses. It's not what you expect when you get a top recruiting class. 4:30. Defense showing pressure. They come after Ellinger. He steps up, throws, and complete. Vontae Woodard makes the catch. It's a first down for the Longhorns. They'll move the sticks. 13-yard pickup.
I think it's important in the discussion to not take anything away from Baylor, because I know the story that the story of Matt Rule and where this program was and all that they went through. And you mentioned Mack Rhodes, the athletic director, his part to play in that. Their performance over the last couple of years and their improvement has been nothing short of spectacular.
Well, you get a guy like Matt Rule, comes from that Northeast, who's a guy who's blue-collar, tough. I want defense, and you can see this team is taking on his personality.
Almost the 6th of the year. Oh, no, wait, that was
Jamison Houston.
I didn't see that second one on the jersey. He is their best cover guy. You can see right there, nice break on the ball. Just doesn't pull this one in. He had his eyes on Ellinger that whole time, too. That's defensive back's dream right there. He sees the quarterback, sees those shoulders turn. I know he's going to throw this thing. He throws it, breaks on it, just doesn't catch it. We'll talk more about the job that Matt Rule's done, and I think some of the most significant moves for his success early.
They drop out in coverage. Under pressure, Ellinger!
It's Lynch.
And James Lynch wraps him up. I tell you, this Baylor defense just smothers you.
And you see Lynch.
5 sacks on the day by this Baylor defense.
Defense is like this team. I mean, it's a unit. You know, the front gets their job done.
Out of the half.
Defensive backs are covering up on the backside, leaving no options, which, you know, partially good defense and partially, again, the questions about Texas's offense, you know, with Colin Johnson out and Duvernay really being that only threat consistently. Why aren't you getting more of those guys to develop as threats on the outside? But back to the story of Matt Rule and what he's done here. You know, one of his first moves was hiring David Wetzel, who was president of the Texas High School Coaches Association. So he really started to reach out to people that had the connection to these Texas high schools. And, you know, you can't fake sincerity.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess you can fake it, but people are going to pick up on it right away. And in a poll of these high school coaches of their opinion on the coaches within colleges in the state of Texas they trust the most, Matt Rule only finished behind Gary Patterson, who's been around there longer than any of the coaches here in Texas.
Well, even the players will tell you, we trust him.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about as a coach, to build that trust with your players. He's certainly got it, and they have played for him. For this team to be 1-11 in his first season, and for them to trust what he's trying to do and build this program, look at the fruits of the labor in just his third season.
It is incredible. And, you know, when you talk to him, you don't get any coach speak out of him.
No,
I mean,
authentic guy. He will tell you.
Like you're talking to one of your good friends.
Here's Ellinger. Rolling. Incomplete. Unlike last week, this Baylor squad not looking at the clock, and they are playing until the last tick.
You know, I had an opportunity to speak with Matt Rhodes, the athletic director, beforehand, and he's got an interesting background. He's been around some interesting situations, from, you know, being at Missouri, and he was at Houston, actually was there with the hiring of Tom Herman. But kind of what's gone on here at Baylor, and you just got...
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 68. That 15-yard penalty being forced from the dead ball spot, first down. That's number 68's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
That's on Kerstetter. So you've had Parker Braun, you've had Kerstetter, a number of guys here on the offensive line who lost their composure.
But finishing that thought on Matt Rhodes and what he had to say about Matt Rule and what you're going to see at the end of the game here, the pure, raw emotion of a coach that truly wants his players to win more than he wants to win for himself, especially on senior night.
It is senior day here as a flag on the play. Time now for our smoking player of the game, sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? And Denzel Mims. Wow, look at that catch. 7 catches for $125. Touchdown is 11th of the season, 10th most in FBS. And a call holding on Baylor. They're 3 minutes away from victory in their 10th win of the season.
I mean, and to think this is a team that was up 28-3 against Oklahoma a week ago and what might have been, but like Matt Rule in his motto, it's what's next. Don't even think about what happened last week. Just get ready for this week. Play your best.
2:30. Again, a victory. Baylor clinches a spot in the Big 12 championship game. This will be the first time in 5 years that they have beaten Texas. First time in 6 years they've beaten Texas here in Waco.
I know it's a couple of weeks off, but what we've seen from the committee so far and how they rank teams based on common opponents, let's look at this scenario. Suppose LSU gets into the SEC championship game and they lose to Georgia, and people are talking about LSU automatically still being in the top 4 even if they lose in a scenario like that. What if it's Baylor? What if it's Baylor that finishes out with the Big 12 championship? They're sitting there both with one loss, but with the Baylor win over the common opponent in Texas in such a more dominating fashion than what LSU had done. I know it was a different time of the season, but something to think about.
Well, if this score holds, this will be the largest win by the Baylor Bears in this series. Last time Texas hasn't put up a touchdown in a game, 2016. That was 38 games ago. Again, Baylor looking for their biggest win in this series since 1989. Under a minute.
A lot of football left to be played. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Charlie Brewer. And Baylor's got Kansas a week from now. They punched their ticket into the Big 12 championship game. But
how about the Jay? They played Iowa State tough today.
Absolutely, and we've had a chance to see them play. We saw them play against TCU and had our chance to talk to Les Miles and his staff, and he's since made change at the offensive coordinator spot, and that offense has really picked up.
As Duvernay run out of bounds, but a first down pickup for him.
That Iowa State defense doesn't generally give up a lot of points. You know, we haven't seen kind of how that one broke down with all the statistics and if there were some turnovers. I know that man Carter Stanley threw for over 300 in that game. That's unusual for that Iowa State defense to give up those kind of numbers.
And another receiver screen for Duvernay. And another first down for the Longhorns. Sixth straight game for Duvernay with 8 or more catches. He's got the longest streak in the country with that. Here's Ellinger. Steps up, keeps it, steps out of bounds. So Matt Rule 15 seconds away from his first victory over Texas. Baylor 15 seconds away from their 10th victory of the season. Ellinger. Upended inside the 5. 5 seconds left. It looks like the Horns have called a timeout.
It's the second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And that's not going to go over well with the Baylor fans.
I don't. Hey, if I'm Texas, I'm Doug Berman. I don't really care what the Baylor fans think about it. I'm trying to get myself into the end zone. I mean, your job as a coach is to keep coaching your players, and as a player, you play to the last snap. That's who you are. That's what this game is. You know, it's not the kind of game that you can afford to take plays off and that you can have a mentality anything other than go out and do your best all the time. Obviously not going to win the game or come anywhere close, but it speaks to you as a person, as a player, and what you're about as a staff, as a team, what you do in the last minutes of a game like this where you're losing, and you're not just doing it to make the scoreboard look better. You know, there are recruits all over the country watching you, and you always want to give your best. And that's exactly what you're seeing from Texas right now on this drive.
Handoff, touchdown run by Daniel Young. The junior gets Gets his first touchdown of the season with a second left. Victor's extra point is good. And we'll have a kickoff. And 1 second. But Matt Rule will have to wait to get his first victory over Texas and the 10th of the season.
I'm sure he doesn't mind savoring it for that extra time. And you know, as a parent, I know that you know this as well. You know, there's no success like the success of your children, and I'm sure for many coaches, there's no success like the success of your players. You see these guys develop, and again, it's such a different situation because when Art Briles was fired, and with that chaos, players had an opportunity to leave, and a lot of these guys hung around. And this is what they've hung around for.
Yeah.
Birth now into the Big 12 championship. And who would have thought something like that was going to happen? So to see your children, if you will, your football team children succeed, that's one thing. But to see them succeed and overcome that kind of adversity, it's a special kind of feeling for Matt Rule.
And he even told us, he said that one thing that's burned him since he's been here at Baylor is that he hasn't won on senior day.
Yeah.
He's always wanted his senior
He
to
said
go out with the
he
victor.
wanted to talk to them about it this week.
Exactly.
Didn't want to jinx it.
There it is. Baylor and Matt Rule's Texas football. They're now 10-1. They've clinched a spot in the Big 12 championship game. He gets his first victory over the Longhorns. What a turnaround from 1-11 to 10-1.
One of the great stories in all of college football, in the history of college football, is historic turnaround.
Well, for Robert Smith, I'm Brian Custer. The final, Baylor 24, Texas 10. Coming up after this short break, get you out to Lubbock, Kansas State, and Texas Tech.